On August 6th, the day Lewinsky began her testimony, the president was in the Rose Garden at a gun control ceremony, wearing a necktie that Lewinsky says she gave him on his birthday in 1996. Prosecutors want to know if he wore it on the day she was to testify as a signal to her, hoping she would not say anything damaging. And would that be an attempt to obstruct justice? According to French, the president's words and deeds convinced her that there were emotional ties between them and not just physical ones. One friend told ABC News he lied to protect her. Now this.
I don't think there is a fancy way to say that I have sinned.
72 hours after the report was made public, it almost instantly became the best-selling paperback.
The number of mentions of the word sex and its variations in Ken Starr's report, 548. Number of mentions of the word whitewater, 2. Number of mentions of the travel office matter, 0. You get the point.
This letter from Larry Flint actually offers Ken Starr a job with Hustler magazine. And here's what he says why. Joe, I've been impressed by the salacious and voyeuristic materials in your work, the quality and quantity of material you have assembled in your report contains more pornographic references than those provided by Hustler online magazine this past month.
Ms. Lewinsky testified she performed oral sex in phone sex approximately 15 times. At one point, the president used a cigar as a sex toy. The president kissing her and fondling her, put his hand over her mouth. Ms. Lewinsky as saying she had on me pretty exclusively.
Having to give testimony on every intimate detail and aspect of the relationship. You know, your hands were here, his hands were there, over, under your garments, who came, who this, who that, and to then have all of that on the internet for the entire world to read was pretty violating and embarrassing.
According to Ms. Lewinsky,
Ms. Lewinsky said that she and the president had their second
physical relationship with the president.
During the encounter, the president took a phone call during which
she saying, who knows what will happen in 4 years.
The report chronicles Monica Lewinsky's testimony of numerous intimate encounters with the president.
Most of us send email, and most of us probably in the back of our head think, well, my email, you know, no one's really going to read my email. Or when you write something, you may write a letter to someone and you delete it on your computer, you assume it's deleted. You don't think that it can be drawn up from your hard drive, which it can be, and then printed for the whole world to see. It wasn't even just my sphere of my own self whose privacy was violated. I mean, it was my family's and my friends.
It's the girl with the glasses up on top of her head. Yeah, we got a great shot on 3rd Street.
I had 4, 5 girlfriends who were called before the grand jury, one of whom was actually flown all the way from Tokyo. And my best friends, they had subpoenaed her hard drive. Her emails were published.
The report cites chapter and verse of Monica Lewinsky's account of her sexual relationship with the president. Log notations of when she was admitted to the White House, whom she saw, and what she heard.
Why did you have to give so much detail?
People ask me that a lot. They go, well, why did you tell so much? And the reason that there were so many details and that you all know so much about the intimate actions that took place behind closed doors or whatnot was because I had to testify about them, and after I'd gotten immunity, and I was not in a position to know what was on the 20 hours of tapes that Linda had made, so I didn't know what I had revealed about my relationship. I felt like I had to testify truthfully and tell everything that I knew because I didn't want to put myself or my immunity in jeopardy for having not been forthcoming or truthful. And I had to do that because of the way the president testified in his grand jury appearance. The Office of the Independent Counsel felt that in order to prove their case that, like I said, the president was not telling the truth, that they needed to have this detail so that it would be believed.
And you testified that you didn't have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky in the Jones deposition under that definition,
That's correct, sir.
If the person being deposed touched the genitalia, would that be, under your understanding then and now, sexual relations?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it would?
Yes, it would. If you had a direct contact with any of these places in the body, if you had direct contact with intent to arouse or gratify, that would fall within the definition.
So you didn't do any of those three things with Monica Lewinsky?
You are free to infer that my testimony is that I did not have sexual relations as I understood this term to be defined.
Including touching her breast, kissing her breast, or touching her genitalia?
That's correct.
There is a big part of me that is so incredibly offended by the way he described what happened. I mean, his testimony, he testified that I serviced him. That's what he testified to. So his testimony was that he didn't touch me, I touched him. So while people couldn't call me a liar and a stalker, per se, that didn't change a lot of people's image of me being a whore.
Can you imagine your son coming home and saying, I'm going to marry Monica Lewinsky?
Well, let's see what's going on with Monica, or as President Clinton calls her, my little humidor.
There's something about Monica. Her lips never say no.
Monica Lewinsky apparently told a fan that she doesn't give autographs because she's famous for the wrong reasons. Yeah, although Monica did offer to give the fan oral sex.
How are you?
Okay, thanks.
How does it feel to be America's premier blowjob queen?
It's hurtful and it's insulting. And as insulting as it is to me, it's even more insulting to my family. And I don't actually know why this whole story became about oral sex. Because I don't. It was a mutual relationship. So I don't. The fact that it did is maybe a result of a male-dominated society, or you might be better poised to answer that. No, that's actually probably cost me another year of therapy too. But I mean, that's something I do have to deal with.
Monica Lewinsky, it seems, is everywhere right now.
Monica Lewinsky is being flooded with multi-million-dollar offers to tell all about her affair with President Clinton.
And Monica Lewinsky's got a brand new bag and a brand new career. On Wednesday, she showed off her new line of fabric handbags, which she designs herself.
She seems to be enjoying all of this.
It's a very in-your-face thing. What this woman is saying, hey, I went into the Oval Office, I had sexual relations with the President of the United States, and here I am, world, look at me.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lewinsky, this is probably a tougher question than you've been asked. I don't mind you're making a living. I don't mind you making a lot of money, but I find sort of the whole setup fairly dishonest in this sense. I don't think we've really learned much of a lesson at all from what you could possibly, offer the nation. I mean, the nation was really plunged through a really wrenching constitutional crisis. I find it disingenuous to suggest that this is the most appropriate way for you to earn a living, approaching HBO to broadcast essentially a spin story about your life as the true sort of clearing up of the misperceptions of what happened.
Why do you think this is a spin story?
Because you're giving us this self-serving, self-supporting drivel, frankly, about what's going on in your life today. I find it extremely, I guess, presumptuous and disturbing that we're all participating in this one-sided promo for you're making a lot of money and so on. That I find really upsetting.
Why did you come today, sir? I'm not challenging you. I'm just curious. I mean, you obviously.
It was a build as a way of clearing the air and clearing some misperceptions and to tell the truth. I found it anything but. I think you've completely obscured the meaning of how everything went down. I think you've sort of made this more about you and your pain and not about your own agency in having all this happen. You are not a unwitting, silent, passive person who got caught up in something much larger than you were. You were someone who did manipulate events, who knew that you were signing a false affidavit, who knew that you were playing in the highest levels of power in Washington.
I just want to say that I support you 100%, and I don't think anyone should judge you unless they've gone through it.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. Amen.
Do you think you've done anything wrong, and do you hold yourself responsible?
I made the best decisions I could. I chose to not wear a wire and tape people. I chose to not get immunity until, or accept it, whatever, until the independent counsel's office was comfortable with what I said was the truth. So I don't know, I'm just fuming. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad you said what you said, because the whole point of this was for people to say whatever. It's frustrating for me because there are so many facts out there, and there are so many things, and until someone has walked in my shoes and walked through this, I don't know. But I'm so glad you said it, even though I don't like it.
You, Monica S. Lewinsky, do swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
We hope on behalf of Monica and her family that this long nightmare that has endured in their lives will come to a quick conclusion. Thank you.
This must be a time of reconciliation and renewal for America. Thank you very much. I believe any person who asks for forgiveness has to be prepared to give it.
How are you? How are you doing today? For you?
First of all, thank you for asking that. That's very sweet. That's very sweet.
It's an honest question.
I don't know why I'm so touched by that, but I am. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I mean, I have my, actually I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. So, I mean, I have my bad days, but my good days far outweigh them. So, thank you.